Death and Robots is an animated anthology series on Netflix that came out back in March of 2019. So this review is definitely a little bit late, but I don't think it's too late to talk about something that you really enjoyed. This show is awesome. Like, genuinely incredible. From an animation standpoint, it's amazing. I was not expecting the show to look as unique as it did from episode to episode. It's an anthology series, which means that every episode has a new cast of characters, a new genre, a new story, and in this case, a new animation style. So you either get really stylized, really realistic, 2D, 3D, whatever. There is so much variation in this show. There's a little bit of something for everyone. Now, something I didn't know before going into this show is that the marketing campaign behind it was that it was a not safe for work TV series, as in a very much TVMA show. I went into it with a completely open mind, so when I got to some episodes that were more on the gory edge of things, like Sunny's Edge, or The Witness, or Shapeshifters, The Witness wasn't so much gory as it was just very much nudity ridden, so much so that I couldn't even record footage for this video to show you clips of The Witness, so there's probably some different clip from some different episode on the screen right now. That's how much nudity there was. This show really took free reign. It seems like Netflix gave that to them. They were able to do whatever they wanted to tell the stories they wanted. And with that free reign, Love, Death, and Robots used a lot of nudity, a lot of violence, and a lot of gore, which turned some critics away from it. However, I feel like in most cases, it's used in the right way. In The Witness, one that had so much nudity in it that I couldn't even record footage, that one was a thriller. It kind of felt like it was so intense and fast-paced that the characters in the setting they're in, I don't want to spoil anything, didn't even have time to properly dress themselves to get out of the situation. That set the tone for me. And as far as violence and gore goes, that can also set the tone. It can show how serious the situation is, how realistic the situation is, and how dangerous it is for all of these characters. And speaking of the characters, these are all shorts. You don't get to know everyone that well. So it takes a real amount of talent to make one of these shorts have characters that you're actually invested in. And I would say most of the time, I like the characters in Love, Death, and Robots. It's really impressive that in so many different shorts, across so many different genres and storylines, I was able to get invested in all of these random characters who only exist in 16 to 10 to 6 minute increments, however long the short is. That is incredibly impressive from a writing standpoint. The only one that I felt like didn't work out so well was The Dump. That episode didn't really blow me away. Shapeshifters was really cool, but the character relationships were a little bit out of whack. But for the most part, the rest of them did a good job. They did what they needed to do in that short amount of time. It's when you try to overdo it that things kind of fall apart. Underdoing it is somewhat fine, because it's a short. You don't need to know everything. It just needs to grab your attention and be entertaining. And Love, Death, and Robots is incredible at that. It really is the masterclass of animated shorts. If you want to know how to do one, just study a few episodes of Love, Death, and Robots. Whether you're not okay with the gore or okay with the gore or the nudity, there's a lot of variety. You could find an episode like Suits, which doesn't have so much gore or nudity, but is still a great animated short. Or Helping Hand. That one definitely has a bit of gore and a bit of violence, but it still perfectly conveys what it needs to convey, and tells an amazing story while doing it. And if you're willing to go into the depths of the not safe for work zone of this show, episodes like Sunny's Edge, Beyond the Aquila Rift, I think that's how you say it, I'm not 100% sure, The Secret War and The Witness are all great examples of this as well. If I had to give my top 3 episodes, it would probably be, in no particular order, Sunny's Edge, Beyond the Aquila Rift, and maybe Lucky 13? I don't know, I really like The Secret War 2, and Suits was really cool. You know what, I'm gonna shoot for something outside of that kind of realistic tone. I'm going with Suits for number 3. And my 3 least favorite, probably The Dump, Alternate Histories, and Ice Age. Those 3 were, they kind of fell flat for me. I'm sure there are plenty of people who enjoyed those ones, but they weren't the best for me. But that's the great thing about an anthology series. You have so much variety, there's something for everyone. Love, Death, and Robots is one of those shows, even though it can go into some very, very, very adult territory. If I had to give this show a score out of 10 for its first volume of animated shorts, I'd give it an easy 9 out of 10. They're not all knockouts, there are a few I wasn't crazy about, but the ones that are good are really, really good. They tell their stories perfectly. I didn't even talk about Zima Blue. Holy crap, Zima Blue is awesome. That one's just bizarrely incredible and has an awesome art style to it, at least in my opinion. I found myself enjoying it. There is so much awesome stuff in this series, and if you haven't seen it yet, please go check it out. But maybe if you're not as strong-stomached to gore, or if you don't like seeing animated nudity, then maybe pick some of the lighter episodes of the show, like Suits, or maybe Lucky 13, or 3 Robots. However, if you are okay with that stuff, sky's the limit. Literally watch all of it. You will not be disappointed.